Mhm.
So kind of like it's more opinionated, I guess.
Okay.
It's giving him a little too much power. It's almost violating the Constitution because they wanted to avoid like a monarchy almost, and it's almost like he's creating everything. He's
Well.
doing everything that suits him, which is basically
Mhm.
what like a monarch would do.
Well, it is violating the Constitution. Absolutely. Court agreed. Totally agreed with you. Wouldn't it make it really fast though? Like not really fast, but at least faster, because then he doesn't have to veto,
Yeah.
send it back, override. I mean, it just it. And that's why, like, there's a lot of things that can happen in state government that we can't accomplish in national government because it's slow. So, so line item veto. Do we have it? Yes or no?
Not
No, it is unconstitutional. Signing statements. Do we have them?
Yes.
Yes. Many presidents have issued them. They're more popular today. And when your little brother and sister are in this class, then I may very well tell them that signing statements are unconstitutional. We just don't know. Because what would it take for us to know that they were unconstitutional?
court court case.
You'd have to have a court case. The court can't just go, hey, you can't do that. There has to be a court case. It has to work through the process. The court has to make a decision, and that takes a long time. All right. The president also possesses emergency powers. This is not a technical vocabulary term. I don't have a technical vocabulary term. I'm just saying that in a time of crisis, we allow our presidents to behave differently than we would during a time of peace. After 9/11, we let W do and the executive branch do all kinds of things that 6 years later we were like, I'm not so sure about that. And that's just what that means, you know.
So is there anything Truman dropping bombs on Hiroshima and
Yeah.
Nagasaki?
And then there was tons of backlash on involvement in Korea, and the Congress checked him repeatedly with that involvement there. Executive privilege. This is the one that students have the hardest time with. So I'm going to do my best to really get you to understand this. All right. Have you guys ever heard of a subpoena before?
I've heard of it.
You know what it is, Gabby? Who knows what it is?
Isn't that like where you have like someone makes a request for something like documents or something?
Mhm. And it's court order. So it's a legal court order. So if you're subpoenaed, you could be subpoenaed to turn information over to the court. And if you don't do it, you could go to jail. I mean, it's like a violation of a court order. You could be subpoenaed to testify and show up to court and answer questions. So if you're a witness to a crime and you're not willing to cooperate, then the court would subpoena you and make you come and testify. So it's like a big deal to say no to a subpoena. Like there's criminal consequences for that. The American president can claim executive privilege in those kind of situations. But it's very, very narrowly defined.
How do you spell that word?
Sub, and then I think it's Poena. It's not like how it sounds. So, President Nixon was charged, or he was subpoenaed by Congress. Congress said, we want you to turn over some things, some tapes that you've made that we think you've stolen, some recordings, some things about break-ins at the Watergate Hotel. He said, no, I'm the president. That's executive privilege. So the federal government charged him, and we end up with a case called U.S. versus Nixon. And the Supreme Court in that case confirmed that executive privilege is super real. And they could envision a time period where the president could not comply with court orders, not turn over information, and that would be okay. Did Nixon have executive privilege? No way. Because what he was doing, what he was refusing to turn over, there was no reason for him not to turn it over. It was just going to make him look bad. Executive privilege would be if there was a court order and the president were to turn that information over and it could give away national security secrets, if it could cause Americans to lose their lives, if it's really secretive special information that the president has, they could claim executive privilege. Clinton claimed executive privilege too. He got sued by a woman named Paula Jones for sexual harassment while he was president. He said he claimed executive privilege. I'm the president. Can't sue me while I'm the president. And the court said in Clinton versus Jones, yes, she can. She can't sue you for being president. She can't sue you for signing a bill. She can't sue you for an executive order. She can sue you as Bill Clinton for an action that you may or may not have committed, So executive privilege. So I think why it's hard to understand executive privilege is I don't know when it's real. Like I don't know a specific example because that's the whole point of executive privilege is that the information would remain secret. Maybe 100 years from now, or maybe it's in this like book of secrets somewhere. Like I don't know, but so does this make sense to you? Kind of. Nikita, what do you think if you were going to say it in your own words? What does executive privilege mean?
In my own words, I would say the president getting away with things usually it's not appropriate to get away with certain things.
Right. But it's in a very narrowly defined kind of way. Okay? And it's just because of their access to information that might be broader or different than what the rest of us would have.
And
Okay?
it's only with subpoenas, right?
That's the only examples I know because that's when they've claimed it. I guess it could fit in another place. You know, I guess if there's like it would have to relate to some kind of legal action that you and I would be subject to that the president because of their job wouldn't be. Like I wonder if jury duty. You know, if the president got jury duty, could they claim executive privilege? Probably. You know, but then other people could claim exemption. I don't know. Those are the only examples that have been out there. So those are the two court cases. Okay, final thing. It's the idea that the institution of the president carries all kinds of influence that the other branches don't because he is one person versus all the faces or versus all the judges. It kind of goes along with this, but it's just that idea that of the institution. One of my favorite stories was after W was no longer president and he came back to Dallas. And during that summer, he was at a Rangers game. He's like a huge baseball fan. He used to own part of the Rangers. And he was in the press box, and they were interviewing him. And he was like, "So what's it like being an ex-president? What's life like?" And he was joking about all the like mundane household chores that he hadn't done for 12 years because he was governor. And he was talking about having to pick up dog poop. And it was just such a funny thing to hear him say that. But I mean, when I took students to DC and we went to the White House, like Secret Service agents took the dogs out. You know, I got to pet Barney, his dog, because like that's the president doesn't do that. So anyway, you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you later. I did. It was really super cool. It was my best moment.